dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes will bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
What's going on? Welcome to Two Dudes with Attitudes of Wrestling podcast, the Royal Rumble Special Edition. We're going to do a quick 30-minute episode where we're going to talk all things Royal Rumble, but we will still have our WWE on Thursday, AEW on Friday, so continue to tune in. But to make the episode shorter and to dive more into the Rumble itself, we wanted to dedicate a whole episode to it. So as always, I'm the Heartbreak Dude, Denton, the dude of Wrestle Talk. And with me, as always, is the man who returned at number 30 at the Royal Rumble, Mr. Ryan Enjoys Wrestling himself. What's going on?
Oh, it was a fun night at the Rumble. When I came out at number 30 to absolute silence, it was glorious. It was quite nice. I think people were expecting some other guy who's like a Hollywood actor now. He's on the board of directors for TKO, but that's me. I'm just the big disappointment that let everyone down. So
it's funny because when Liv came out at 30, the world exploded. So they were okay with it. But I guess that was like a good surprise, unlike poor Sami Zayn. But don't worry, he main evented the next night at Raw. So, but anyway, we did a watch along. So all those of you who tuned in, we had a good time. Good amount of people stayed the whole time, and we did some drinks. And I don't even want to go back to watch that because I feel like by the time that men's Royal Rumble hit, I was probably in all sorts of different ways. But we were going to do this yesterday. I wanted to get another taste of it. I wanted to watch it again. You watched it again so we can have a better input. It's hard to do a watch along and focus on everything. So I was able just to sit and focus on it.
Yeah.
So let's start. They started right. Every year, the women's WrestleMania match outshines the men's. And they started with the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. We had some surprises. We had some returns. We had some whatever. But in the end, the right person won, in my opinion. That was Bayley. Bayley has finally won her first ever Royal Rumble. Now I think she has accomplished every single thing minus main eventing WrestleMania, which she will do now, that a female wrestler can do in WWE. So what'd you like? What'd you hate? Did you like I rewatched again to see like how all the girls were like staggered around the ring, because I was making fun of that when it was going on in the watch along, but I kind of appreciated it more afterwards. But what'd you think, man? There was no, Becky in the top 4 and no Nia in the top 4, and
you didn't really get a top
surprises.
4.
No, we got a top 3. Yeah.
Yeah. They had 5 left and then 2 got eliminated at the same time. So I thought like you said, I think the women's outshine the men in a big way. I love that they had Naomi come back, and not only did she come back, she entered at number 2. We got to see the long-awaited debut of Jade Cargill, and she looked like $1 million. She looks well worth the investment. She had a fantastic moment. Everyone's talking about the moment where she lifted Nia Jax up and flexed her muscle while she did it. That was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I loved the elimination of Becky Lynch, where she lifted Naomi up over her shoulder and then used Naomi to kind of kick Becky Lynch in the face and knock Becky Lynch over the top rope. So technically Naomi got the credit for that because it was her elimination, but it was Jade Cargill who was the reason behind it. So yeah, I loved it. I thought the women's Rumble was great. Liv Morgan coming back at number 30. She looked like $1 million, and she's the place exploded, like you said, when she came out. It was the women, the right woman won. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with Bayley. We won't talk too much about Monday Night Raw or anything on this, but she came out on Raw and looked really good, and Nia Jax came out on Raw looking strong. So Bayley says she's gonna make her decision on Friday. I think we all know which way she's leaning, but I loved it. I think Bayley is now probably the most accomplished of the 4 horsewomen, minus main eventing WrestleMania, and I think she deserves it. She's kind of been put through hell over the last couple of years with Damage Control, the constant losing, the constant being always putting other people over, and then
Mm-hmm.
her team, she never really doing anything. She hasn't held the women's championship in quite a while. Every time
Yep.
she's had big moments, she's kind of lost in the, her stablemates have gotten opportunities. Now she has Asuka and Kairi Sane in there as they're the new women's tag team champions. And so, and Io Sky, of course, is the WWE women's champion. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with Bayley. I think she's going to go after Io Sky, and I think Damage
Yeah.
Control is going to implode, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Bayley deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, as you can tell on Raw too, that they all just left her high and dry. But we'll get there when we get there on Thursday. This Rumble was insane, and I tried to stay away from the internet a little bit afterwards. I haven't been trying to focus on it. I didn't watch the press conference, but I heard a little bit about it. And I'm surprised by the hate that Jade Cargill got for this. And
Yeah.
rewatching it, I focused on her and focused on what she was. I didn't see any, like, once again, I can't say if Dave Meltzer, and you know me, I was texting you saying, oh, I hope Punk's not injured just so we can shove it in this idiot's face because he's 95% of the time. But hey, you got a scoop on CM Punk. Congrats. But he came out and basically voiced that Jade couldn't wrestle. She was missing spots. That's what she's known for. She has no memory. She can't remember where to go on things. And I didn't see it. She looked like she was hitting everything. She did well. She was safe with the wrestlers. I mean, I'm so sick of people saying she's green. Like, she wrestled a year or two in AEW. You know, I know it's not the WWE, but that's still a huge promotion. She wrestled in front of people, and she was a champ forever as a TBS champion. I don't understand the hate. She looked really, really good. I thought a lot of people looked really good. I really thought Chelsea Green looked good, and not just figured it you know, she looked good, but she looked good. I like that she got squashed that one time by Piper Niven like 100 times in a row, and the Nia Jax was squashing her. She sells it so well. Bayley did amazing, obviously, in that entire match. Naomi looked phenomenal, killed it for that whole 60 whatever minutes she was in there. I said Nia, right? Nia looked great as well. I think people, Becky didn't need to shine, but she, did what she needed to do. And I like that she took an elimination early. She wasn't in the top three. I like the top three having, a newer wrestler and a Liv Morgan, who people love, who's been a champion, who's, kind of like that new, she's going to be that new, everybody's going to be rooting for her Daniel Bryan type of thing where she loses, people are going to boo and stuff. I think people are really behind Liv Morgan. And her, she's gorgeous too. She looked good coming out. And then having Bayley be in there too. That was a good 3. I liked everything about it. I rewatched it again. There was parts where there was too many people. This year surprised me. The men did it at one part too, where there was like 9 or 10 dudes in there at a time.
Yeah, it's hard to follow.
A lot of them are just sitting in the corner, like wasting time. And then the camera's trying to focus on multiple, or they miss a move because these wrestlers are obviously just talking and winging it as they go along, right? But the women had that for the first 15 or so, 20 minutes. It was like no one got eliminated. There was at one point like a lot, like 10, 11, 12 girls. There was just too much going on. So it dragged a little bit. You could also see too, the thing that stinks about the Rumble is that fans only want surprises, right? So whenever like a poor, like, I don't know, Xia Li or when Candice LeRae came out, I mean, it's like Cricket City. And then the crowd is dead for that entire minute and a half while they wait for the net. Like, they don't even care. You can do whatever you want. Even people they appreciate. And it's just like, there was a lot of dead silence on people that would come out, which sucks because you would think as wrestling fans, you would want to root for those people getting a chance. When was the last time Xia Li was on TV? And now she's coming out and getting a chance to kind of showcase herself a little bit in front of people. But wrestling fans are fickle. That's a story for another day. But yeah, I appreciate it. Bayley won. Bayley 100% is going to not only face Io at Mania. She's going to beat Io at Mania.
She should.
And my Rhea Ripley prediction is starting to look a little bit good too, huh? And her and Nia Jax at WrestleMania probably. Yeah. So I liked it. And I liked seeing Rhea and Io in the back watching. I like seeing Rhea because she was wearing an outfit that I don't even knew was legal to wear. Holy cow. If she was walking on the side of the road, there would have been bumper to bumper traffic. But it was good stuff. I love the Women's Royal Rumble. And once again, it outshined the men's. And that's not dogging from the men's. I do appreciate the Men's Royal Rumble, which we'll get into. But it was a great way to start the show. Like hour and 20-minute match too. Yeah,
it was pretty long. And the other thing too that I really enjoyed was seeing Jordan Grace from TNA when she made her appearance at number 5. that was a nice surprise seeing
Mhm.
her, and she got to carry the Knockouts Championship out, and I
Again, yeah, good.
I do like that WWE acknowledged the life outside of the out of WWE, because they acknowledged Naomi. They said that she went to TNA and became the the Knockouts World Champion on commentary. So they were acknowledging what she's been doing since she left the WWE, and then they acknowledged, of course, Jordan Grace when she came in. So yeah, I like, because usually they're like, oh well, they've wrestled all over the world, but here they are in the WWE. They try not to acknowledge any
Mhm.
other companies out there. So I do like that they acknowledge the world outside of the organization. And yeah, I thought the women's rumble was great. There was a
Mhm.
lot of highlights. And like you were saying about the crowd, though, one of my low points of the night, and this happened a lot in the men's too, is the WWE theme songs. I had a hard time. I don't know if it was the way the arena was set up or what, but usually I wait because if it's not Cody Rhodes, if it's not Liv Morgan, if it's not Rhea
You don't know
Ripley,
it, is what
you
you're
don't
saying.
know their theme songs very well. So you would hear the music, and then usually they have like a video board behind them, or a jumbotron or something that
Mhm.
has their name that pops up, and you're like, oh, it's her. It felt like there was a little bit of a delay with getting it. They would play the music a little bit, and then they would put the name on the screen. I'm like, oh, okay, and then I would start
Yeah.
reading. So I think there was probably a little bit of like, who is this person? I don't know this. And I think it's getting to a point now where all the theme songs are starting to sound a little bit similar to one another,
Mhm.
and they're a little mundane. So outside of the core group of Rhea, Becky, Bayley, Liv Morgan, everyone's theme songs all kind of sound pretty similar.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Grace also came out to Scott Steiner's theme song, so I
Yeah,
called that.
that was
I was
true.
like, "Oh, Steiner's here." Sirens. Good on Jordan Grace. Not only did they have her bring out the belt like they did a la Mickey James,
Mhm.
which was 2 years ago. I thought that was last year, but it was 2 years ago. Um, they gave her time, and she had good moments. She had the moment with Naomi, so on. She looks phenomenal. That girl is a beast. So yeah, overall, I liked it. It was nice to see her come out. The whole
Yeah,
presentation of everything. Yeah, that's just the women's Royal Rumble is on a whole nother level. I want to give two props to the commentators. I crapped on them having Pat McAfee there. We didn't really get to hear it much during the watch along because we had to have our volume down. So I couldn't really hear the announcers the entire time so well. But they did a damn good job, and they did a really good job in this women's match more so. And I want to say here and now, before we move on to Roman, is that you need to stop crapping on Corey Graves. That dude is
oh yeah, he's
one
fantastic.
of stop Emma, one of the best in it right now, period. Like that dude, he made a funny line where he even said about Jordan Grace coming out that, man, Michael Cole, she's got more muscle in places than you have places. It was just like really good. Like he oversells people. He was the one pushing the TNA champion. You know who's fallen off and who isn't that good is Michael Cole. That dude
Mhm.
continues to fumble words, not know what he's saying. Corey Graves has to back him up and protect him. Pat McAfee did it at Raw. He says things and it's like, wait, huh? And people just are all in love with Michael Cole because he's been around forever. But no, Corey Graves, Pat McAfee held their own, and they did it throughout the whole
Yeah,
night. So I want to give props because you have good announcers. I enjoyed it a little bit more when you get knowledge. So and they kicked
yeah,
it out. So props to them.
yeah.
Yeah. And people just crap on Corey Graves for no reason. Dude's good. All right, Roman. We got Roman in the 4-way. I actually didn't like the match really when I watched the watch along. I was bored. When I rewatched it afterwards, I actually enjoyed it more. I actually
Mhm.
thought it did what it needed to do. I appreciated it more. Solo coming out was completely stupid. I agree with the internet on that. There was no point for him to even come out. I didn't do anything other than him pulling the ref out. But Roman can't kick out of finishers. Everyone kicks out of finishers. So, I mean, with that said, AJ taking the pin, I thought it should have been Knight, but AJ taking it makes sense as well. There's not really much more to say about this. I mean, I saw people, even like the Dave LaGreco's and stuff like, oh, it might happen, right? This is a good, smart way to have him lose the belt with not being pinned. Come on,
No,
stop.
there was no
It was
chance
a
he's losing
foregone
that.
conclusion.
Yeah.
So match is good. Everyone needed to do what they needed to do. So Randy got some clean RKOs in and some good spots.
Yeah, I thought the solo spot was stupid, and
Mhm.
I was kind of hoping that for once, for the first time in a long time, we would see Roman Reigns get a clean victory, especially on the road to WrestleMania. And while the solo spot didn't really do anything, and it didn't really hurt or help him in the long run, it's still just, I think people are getting a little tired of Roman always needing help. They're getting tired of the same old thing happening in every match. The solo spot, the Jimmy Uso spot, the Jay Uso spot coming out to beat up everybody. And so I think this was an opportunity for him to win this 4-way relatively clean, let them beat up each other, and then he takes advantage at the end. So I didn't think Solo needed to be in the match at all, but the match was what it was. I enjoyed it more, like you said, on the second time I watched it, more than the first. But yeah, it was a solid match, and the right person won. Roman retained, and so going to set up for the end here, which is exciting times.
Yeah, and then we'll go into quickly to KO and Logan Paul. Another match that I enjoyed more afterwards. I don't know if just the watch along, that's when people started talking more, being more vocal in the comments, so we weren't paying attention as much. I thought it dragged. I still didn't like the ending with the Nux.
Yeah.
The Nux didn't really do it for me. And the fact that Logan Paul has literally won every single match with the Nux, but this time the ref, once again, another great line. Was it Corey Graves or Pat McAfee? One of them said like, "Oh, now the ref has 20/20 vision." I loved it. It was like, I mean, they did have a good angle on it though, because the angle was perfect where the Nux was there and the ref's face was like, it was like straight on to
right
where
there.
You can see the ref was looking at it. But stupid. It's dumb. I mean, I guess they want to keep it going on. My only thing with this match though, I was surprised of how little Logan Paul did. I felt like with KO out there, I mean, he was going to go all out, flying all over the place, jumping back. They made this more of like a technical fight. You know what I mean? Where it was more grounded. He did do a couple high, but not really. It wasn't like he did with Roman or with Seth and KO is more talented than these guys are just as talented. He can have these type of matches. So I was surprised by that, but maybe they were telling that story. But yeah, it didn't steal the show like I thought it would.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. It did its purpose. I don't like the end, but it is what it is.
And I don't think we're done with this by any stretch.
No,
and maybe in the rematch, which there will be a rematch either at Elimination Chamber in Australia or WrestleMania in Philly. I think it'll probably be the Chamber because they need all the help they can get for Elimination Chamber with all the injuries and everything that's happening. But so I think we'll probably get this rematch there, and then maybe that's when because it'll probably be a street fight or a no disqualification match or something along those lines, and then that's when they'll steal the show. So I think this one they kind of toned it down. It also felt a little rush there at the end, like, oh, we got to get to the men's rumble, so let's go ahead and just end this match abruptly. So yeah, like it felt like the referee was a little confused as to how he should rule because he saw Kevin Owens have the knuckles, and but yeah, I thought this match was okay. And kudos to Kevin Owens too, because apparently there's a report out there that he's also injured, and that he worked this match with a fractured foot, and you couldn't even tell by you couldn't tell by the look on his face, you couldn't tell by the way he was working the match. So if that's the case, then kudos to him for fighting through the pain and going out there and putting on a decent match. But I'm excited for the rematch in Australia.
Yeah. Also, props to Logan Paul. Stop hating on him, wrestling fans.
No,
like
he's the
this
real
dude is
deal.
for real. Dude took a legit punch in the face on purpose so we can get a black eye. And then, did you see his chest? His chest was pounded on so hard it was bleeding. His chest was bleeding, not just bruised, bleeding from being smacked so hard. Dude is here for the real reason. And now let's get into the main event, the steak and eggs, the men's Royal Rumble. Obviously, we saw who won. Cody Rhodes back-to-back, points at Roman at the end. What'd you think? Pluses, negatives, down on surprises. We don't need surprises to have a good Royal Rumble. Are we so fickle as fans that we need to get over it? And if there's not, MJFs and Hulk Hogan's and other people coming out, we poo-poo in our pantsies. We need to just like move on and let the entertainers entertain. What say you?
Yeah, I've always been against the one-off appearances at the Rumble. I don't need to see X-Pac have a spot at number 12 just to get eliminated. Just to do it, or Hulk Hogan coming back for one night just to do it. If it's somebody like a Matt Cardona who debuts at the Royal Rumble, then I'm excited about it, and that's a surprise that I would love to see happen. But if it's just a one-off appearance and you never see him again, to me, that's a waste of a spot. And that's kind of how I felt about this Rumble. It felt very just meh. There wasn't a lot of pizzazz to it. There wasn't a lot of, I don't know. It felt like the crowd was a little deflated after the incredible women's Rumble that they had. And and the 3 matches, because like we were talking before that this was a 4-hour pay-per-view and they only had 4 matches, and so I think the crowd was just a little flat throughout most of it. I did enjoy the Braun Breaker coming out. I thought that was a cool spot. I thought he looked like he belonged on the main roster, and I am curious to see what happens because we'll talk more about Monday Night Raw, but Andrade made his debut and he's now on the Raw roster now after his appearance yesterday, and apparently Nick Aldis had a call from Braun Breaker, so maybe he's going to SmackDown, which kind of disappoints me because he's still in that incredible tag team match with Baron Corbin. So I hope they're not abruptly ending that. But he was eliminated by Dominic Mysterio too, which was surprising but awesome at the same time. The one thing that kind of bugged me was there was three big spots. Pat McAfee at number 22, where he came in and Omos was in the ring. Braun Breaker was in the ring, and somebody else. I think it was somebody. Maybe it was just the two of them, and he just eliminated himself. He climbed in the rope. He climbed into the ring. First, he climbed in and climbed out. Then he climbed into the ring, and then he climbed over the rope
again,
and eliminated himself. And to me, that felt like a wasted spot. And I'm sure maybe they had to think of something on the fly with no Brock Lesnar and things like that, but. That kind of bugged me. That was a wasted spot that could have gone to somebody like a Trick Williams or somebody like that who got.
I don't know why they didn't have Trick.
Yeah. Carmelo Hayes was in it, and you want to tease the Trick Mello breakup, have Carmelo Hayes eliminate Trick or Trick eliminate Carmelo, or something along those lines to keep that story going. Ricochet at number 28 was I don't hate Ricochet. I just feel like that wasn't the right spot for him to come out. He should have come out at 15, 13, 12. One of the earlier spots, because he came out at 28, and that was just a little odd for me. And then, of course, Sami Zayn at number 30. I love Sami Zayn. He's one of my favorites. He's incredible in the ring. And, I think the crowd was somewhat happy to see him. But him being the 30th, I think they could have done Sami Zayn at 28, Ricochet at 22, and maybe Trick Williams at 30. I would have been fine with that. I think that would have been cool. But, it was just the Rumble was what it was. Cody Rhodes is back-to-back Rumble winner, and I don't know. I was a little disappointed in that. I understand now, and I don't know if that was a spot that they decided to call on the fly, or if it was always the plan with Cody was always going to win, or if they caught an audible when Punk got hurt. I don't know. That was a nasty DDT he took too, by the way, from Drew McIntyre, but that looked like it was painful. But yeah, I mean, Cody is the back-to-back Rumble winner. He pointed to Roman at the end, so it looks like maybe he's going after Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, or so we think. But it's it was okay. The second time of watching it, I liked it more than the first time. The first time I was like, this kind of sucks. Kind of deflating, but I dug it the second time. It wasn't as great as the women's match, but it wasn't a bad match by any stretch.
Yeah, and we don't need surprises. I'm okay with it. I mean, I do that. I want some. Yeah, sure, but not getting them. I like that Braun Breaker eliminated a ton of people, big names too. Maybe he was replacing Brock Lesnar, but nonetheless, I do like that Dirty Dom was the one who eliminated him with his only elimination. The R-Truth stuff was silly. I know people were digging it, the hot tag, the coming in the women's match, the so on and so on, but I mean, it is what it is with R-Truth. He's funny, haha. But sometimes, like I said, I just need serious, and we get things when we don't need it, I think. And that's how I felt with him in the Rumble. I do think that it was an audible. I think Punk was supposed to win. I don't think it'll ever come out. I'm not saying I know, but I just feel like that's what was going on. When he got hurt, he rolled over. Like I said, when we watched it, I even watched that part a couple times. He's talking to multiple referees. And you can see him telling them this and that. Those referees control the match. They have mics. They could have easily went back and said, hey, he's injured. It's the same injury. He's basically telling us he knows he's not going to go. And Triple H might have said, okay, audible. And they could easily, all the refs tell the 4 main people, hey, Gunther, Drew, this is what's going to happen. Or maybe just Cody, either way, and called that audible and had Cody win. Yeah, I just don't see why Triple H would put Cody. Cody didn't need to win the Rumble to finish his story. If you want him to beat Roman at Mania, then have him beat Roman at Mania. I mean, he can win the Elimination Chamber. He can find another way. You didn't need
That
it.
could
It
have
would
been
have
part
made
of the story too. Yeah.
100%. And then they could have had him build back up too. The fact that, hey, I got to like get through this and overcome this. And now I get that to finish my story. But now The Rock just came out and basically said that he is going to wrestle at Mania. He's like, I'm trying to figure this out and I want to wrestle at Mania. So I'm confused on even what's happening now. I'm not for a double night. I was like a year ago. I'm not for it. We don't
Yeah.
need Roman to because unless he beats The Rock, but even beating The Rock night one's deflating if he's just gonna, then it just doesn't make that match feel as important. And if he loses, then it makes him and Cody not feel, and either way, it's a lose-lose. So you either wrestle Cody or you don't. Let's
Yeah.
move on for it. But I don't buy into anything what happened on Raw either, which we'll talk about on Thursday. I think it's 100%. You're not going to have him point at Roman and do everything else unless you're going to wrestle Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So, and I know there's certain people happy, certain people not. It is what it is, man. I mean,
Yeah.
too
I think
bad. Yeah. So I don't know.
I was just more disappointed than anything. And, I've never been the biggest Cody supporter, so I'll probably get, hate for saying that. But I just, Cody Rhodes is, like you've said before, he's being booked like John Cena, and he's always overcoming all the odds, and he's got everything stacked against him, and he ends up winning, and which is fine. But my big thing is they've been kind of teasing this Rock Roman match for a long time. Since this Bloodline storyline started, they've been kind of hinting at The Rock versus Roman, The Rock versus Roman. And, The Rock has come out and said, oh, it almost happened at WrestleMania 39. And then The Rock came out at day one this year and said, okay, I'm going to call out the head of the table. And then, so now it's just, when are they going to do it? Will you please stop teasing us? Stop giving us this and then putting us in a different direction. You want the crowd to turn on it, keep teasing it. And then and then don't give it to us, because the crowd is going to turn on it in a big way. And so I think I was more disappointed in that than anything. And like you said, Cody didn't need the win. He did not need the win. He could have gone about it a different way. They could have had Gunther win and challenge Seth. They could have had, somebody else win and challenge Seth. But Cody winning, it was just, I don't know. It wasn't predictable because I didn't see it coming. So I'm not even complaining about that. It
wasn't. No,
it was just more like, oh, okay, like this is happening. And
it's doing the same exact thing as last year. He won and then didn't win. He won the Rumble, lost that. Now he's gonna, I don't know, like have him go a different path too. If this time he's gonna finish. So last year I won the Rumble but couldn't beat him. Now this year I didn't win the Rumble, but I took the title. Give him, I don't know. I just
something. Yeah.
Unless you're a Cody fan, I don't think you enjoyed this. I don't think it was a good booking call.
And going back to the Rock thing too, I do want to see The Rock versus Roman, but I feel like the only way to see it is with the title on the line. Because I've seen people say that, well, they can do the head of the table moniker, or they could do the winner becomes the tribal chief or something. But the title is what makes Roman the head of the table. The title is what makes Roman the tribal chief. And that's why when Jey Uso challenged him in tribal combat, it was because the winner would become the tribal chief, because they would be the undisputed champion. So to say that if we get Rock versus Roman non-title, that also feels a little disappointing, even though it might be a little predictable. But there is a guy named Damian Priest who's carrying a briefcase around, and he could always cash in on one of those two people to kind of break up that predictability. So but maybe we'll find something out on SmackDown. I don't know, but I think we are getting Cody versus Roman now.
Well, and we got to leave like in 1 minute, but I got to end on this. There's only one person Seth needs to face at Mania now. That's Gunther. And I want title versus title. The end. It needs that. That'll give you a big, hasn't been done since WrestleMania 6. Gunther is the most important person in wrestling. He has that vibe. It'll work. Seth is that dude as well. Great way to make up for CM Punk. And I think that's the only answer. Seth Drew won't work. Cody doesn't work. Seth, anything. It just doesn't work. Seth, Gunther, the only way it works. And Gunther needs to keep the belt. Title versus title. Have Gunther win that belt and have him refuse to get rid of the IC championship, because it is important to him and he wants both. Do something different. Let's switch it up and have some fun. And Gunther's that guy. So
no, I'm all about it.
Keep that out of him.
Yeah, I'm all about Gunther right now. Gunther he's the real deal, and I want to. They got to do something. And with no Punk now, they've got to make some changes. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do.
Let's see. All right. That was our Royal Rumble recap, y'all. As always, keep tuning in, keep subscribing. We're going to be back Thursday for WWE. We'll talk everything, maybe SmackDown or maybe just Raw and NXT. And then we're going to talk about AEW. We can talk about that disaster of a collision. I mean, ratings, attendance, the episode, amongst everything. Poor AEW. We're going to get into that. Hopefully they'll make it up at Dynamite.
Pins.
Alibi Black. Yeah, well, once again, Meltzer stuff. But we'll get there too. So, so as always, I'm the Heartbreak Dude, Denton. Catch me at HBD Denton on all social media that you were looking for. And the man next to me will tell you about the rest.
Yeah, it's Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Every podcast or every social media platform, that's where I am. Go follow us on X at 2DudesPC. Go follow us on TikTok at 2Dudes with Attitudes. And of course, if you're listening to us audio, leave us a review, hit that 5-star rating, leave us a review, and let us know what you think. And then, of course, subscribe to our YouTube. We are starting to make some traction here in this algorithm, and we're blowing up a little bit. So let's keep this momentum going. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and every time we make new stuff, you'll get an alert. And check out the 2 Dudes every week.
Let's go. 2 Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
We're out.
2 dudes with attitudes. Let's go. It's the 2 dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton. They here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast. Start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The 2 dudes with the attitudes will bring the heat. Get the point. Yeah, it's on. Time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.